Hello, everyone. Hello, Dmitro. How are you
Hello,
today?
Tatiana. Yeah, thank you. I'm fine. So the end of the summer is coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a pity, actually. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Ah,
we are ready to continue our work till the end
for
of the year.
sure. For sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, so sorry for delay, for this small delay. It's a busy day, I guess, for me and for Dmitro, and
yeah,
there are many communications, and in particular with clients. And today we have a very important topic in our relationships with customers. So I think Dmitro will share his experience regarding agile practices in client relationships. So before we start, just would like to remind you that we will have a Q&A session in the end of the webinar, so you are free to post your questions in the chat. So we will answer all the questions you have in the end of the meeting, and you may also leave your likes if you like our webinar. On the event page, I will share the link quickly, and I think that's all the organizational part I have. And Mitro, the floor is yours. Hopefully,
yeah,
everyone likes your presentation.
yeah. Thank you so much, Tatiana. As usually, your introduction is awesome, and we are ready to continue our work. Guys, we choose this topic, agile practices implementation in client relationships building process. I can say that is a main topic, I guess, right now, based on the current situation at all in IT area in different countries, whole the world. And as usually, we need to be ready to we can say fight for the client. Yep, attention, fight for the client budgets, fight for the client contracts and future relationships, etc., etc., etc. So that is why we need to think a little bit more, not only as a business analyst, but generally as a managers, because you know, guys, that we have a lot of critical roles in IT projects, and one of these roles or key role is role of business analyst. So why? Because we are client oriented role, we are client faced role, yeah, and we need to be ready to pick up any kind of challenges that we could face with during the client cooperation. That is why this topic is actual, and I think this topic is on time on our plate, and we can go forward with that. So some of you guys, I hope, knows me. I am Dmitry Lozovitsky, Chief Business Analyst, and also representative in IIBA Ukraine chapter. I am a director of Competence Grow, and also chief business analyst in NIPAM. So I like to collect different kind of knowledge based on my experience that I can share with you, and I like to share with you, dear colleagues, friends. And I think that different conduction of different roles allows me to collect some kind of points that could be useful and valuable in our practice. Because only on the edge, as I like to say, only on the edge we can born something new, something useful, something unusual maybe, but efficient. Also, I prepare the next agenda for this webinar. The first point is about how agile practices helps to build client relationships in reality. We are going to talk about that a little bit more, or broadly, yeah. What of practices are the efficient, and when we need to implement them? As usually, you won't leave our webinar without the checklist of something useful for you guys. So please await till this moment, and you will get it. and what are the main blockers of the best agile practices implementation, also as a separate point for our discussion, short discussion. And as usually, Q&A session, Q&A part for you guys. Don't be shy. Please publish your question in chat. Please publish a question on the portal, etc., etc. So I think that is all about agenda. And as usually, I like to provide for your attention some kind of quote. This time from John Wooden. This was a legend or legendary basketball coach in the United States. This man provides a lot of strategic things, or implemented a lot of strategic things in sport practice, but based on interaction with the people. Yep, with sport teams, we can just say that sport team could be equal on psychology or behavioral level to our agile teams that we have in our practice. So that is why I like his quote very much and choose it. Flexibility is a key to a real sustainability relationship. Yeah, guys, this quote is simple, but this thought is a key for understanding how we can organize, or how we should organize everything inside our teams, etc., etc. And especially in question with client cooperation and relationships building. And the first slide is about the basis of sustainable relationships. Yep, because when we're going to talk about the client relationships, we need to understand what is the main points, or what are the key points generally in relationship question as an entity, a managerial object, and etc., etc. And on that slide, I just want to present to your attention the key list of such things. Yeah. And the first is about transparency of actions. Yep. Everywhere where we have transparency as an entity, yep, as an object, as our goal of our interaction, communication, actions, we have the order, yeah, the strict order. We have the good understanding what should be done. So this is the first point that I want to highlight for you. Common work vision building. Yes, for sure. Without the common focus, we can't build anything. Not only alone, yeah, but also on team level as well. So only people united with a common vision, united by common vision, can make something big, can make something valuable, and can make something unusual, yeah, or maybe something new. Reactions predictability. In relationships, we need to trust each other. We talked previously in a few webinars, or during the few webinars, we talked previously. What does it mean, predictability? Yeah, why predictability is such important for us, and that is why we need to understand that if we're going to cooperate with somebody, especially not somebody inside the team or inside the maybe account level, inside account, etc. Especially when we're going to cooperate with our clients as a very sensitive people, guys, very sensitive people. Yeah, we need to provide predictable, not only reactions, but predictable behavior from our side. Why? Because this is a calm of our client. This is a trust of our client on final stage. Don't forget about efficient feedback loop and strategy. Of course, without feedback, we can't improve our behavior. We can't improve our actions. We can't work in efficient manner on gaps yet that we have in our work, or could we have in our work, etc., etc., etc. But feedback is not a formal thing. Also, feedback is a complex thing. And we need complex managerial object, and we need always think how we're going to collect that feedback. We always need to think what is the form of feedback we should propose. What is the form of feedback we need to have? What kind of KPIs? What kind of other things that we have in our practice we should reflect in feedback? What are the main agreement about the feedback with the client? I mean, as a process of giving feedback and feedback analysis, etc., etc. A lot of things we need to know a lot of things to build efficient feedback loop. And we need to understand that we need to have not only the efficient feedback loop, but we need to have the feedback strategy aligned with the project strategy or project phases, because on different project phases with our client, we could have different accents in our scope. So that means for us a lot of things. Let's go forward. Opinion alignment and freedom of thoughts. It's obvious things, but sometimes, I can't say very often, in experienced teams, etc., but sometimes we have a lot of things about related to the freedom of thoughts. Why? Because when we are ready to share our thoughts in free manner, we are open. We are going to build the open mind strategy in our life, in our interaction with the clients, etc. So we need to create the area. We need to create this the work space where we can share in free manner our thoughts and our opinions. Why? Because openness will born again the trust, and will highlight always. I can say always will highlight maybe hiding things, or maybe some things that on the first look couldn't be such important. Yep, but we need to know about them. And we have some kind of tools or just approaches how we can do this. Expectations satisfaction. Yes, for sure. Expectations is our all, because only not results matter. Also at the same time matter the expectations satisfaction. Yeah. Why? Because a client should not only likes our results of work. He should like the manner of our work or manner of our cooperation with that client. In that case, we can expect to continue our relationships in the future, to get the more contracts, more assignments, etc., etc. Interactions excellence. Yep. So change management, escalations, etc., etc. This is pretty standard point. I don't know. I don't think so that I should comment additionally on that. Common information environment. That is also a very important point, because you shouldn't be separated from your client. I mean, not only on the, you should, of course, we are going to build the relationships, we are going to communicate and interact with our client, but we need to build the common information space, yeah, for us. Common channels of communication, common channels, common schedules, etc., etc. Why? Because we need to think together. Why? Because we need to know what is going on right now from the both sides, to be effective, to be proactive, and to have this results that we want to have. All these things together, I can say that they are going to provide some kind of grow partnership capabilities. This is a basis of sustainable relationships. Grow partnership capabilities. We are interacting not only to get the money from the contracts. We are interacting to grow together. So we need to become in the role of a real or true partner. Yeah. So that is why this is a checklist in the left part of this slide that you should think about what is going on in my practice on personal level, on team level, maybe on account level, etc., and where we can improve ourselves. Let's go forward. The next slide is about question when we need to implement agile practices. Yep, that is also a good question. We need to have some markers or maybe some dot points, yeah, that we can identify in our life and project life, and we need to be aligned with to understand what is going on and to be sure that this is the right time to think about some kind of improvements based on agile practices. So the first is about when we want to improve the practices. Yes, sure, common sense. When we need to cover the gaps, of course. When we need to dive deep into separate aspects of relationships, especially interesting point, because we are not, all of us are not ideal, yeah, guys, and we have some kind of specific of our interaction with each other, and we need to think, we need to highlight, we need to monitor, yeah, that some kind of, not the gaps, but maybe some kind of improvement points in our relationships, and we need to deep dive to investigate what is the reason, and agile practices can help with that. When we need to grow the trust, yeah, sure. When we want to demonstrate transparency, and when we want to transform something, or something I'm speaking right now not about on the actions level, but the whole level of interaction on the project. And this is the triggers, the main 6 triggers that we need to understand, know, and monitor in our practice when and why we should implement agile practices. Please think about your practice. Again, the next slide is about agile practices efficiency. Yep. So very interesting thing. Agile practices list are broad and wide, yeah, and we need to understand on what the efficiency of agile practices depends on. And we also have the 6 blocks here. They are pretty obvious, but very often, guys, Scrum Masters, managers, key project roles just forgot about that. So this is kind reminder for all of us to think about, again, your practical situation on your projects. So implementers' experience and knowledge level. Sure. Client experience and practices. Yes, very often they are different, or we can have the difference between our practices, I mean, inside our companies and in companies of our clients. So we need to get the compromise. We need to think how we're going to align everything. Not only on the cultural level, but on behavioral level, on actions level, on vision level, etc., etc. Projects coordinations and work environment specifics for sure. These things have the direct influence on agile practice efficiency level. Real wish and power of will to improve. Very often, again, we have some kind of cases when team is ready, for example, to implement some agile practices. And for example, managerial or managers or managerial representatives on client side, they are not ready to do that, and vice versa. So we need to have the will and the wish, yeah, power of will and wish to do this. Organizational disciplines and work culture. Yes, sure. It's reflect in our workflows, in the tool set that we're going to use, etc., etc., etc. Existing of supporters and changes agents. Extremely important, the sixth and last point. This point about the changes of agents, the changes agents. Why? Because if client organization, for example, don't have the same practice as you have, or your team just making as a regular basis, on regular basis, you need to provide not only information about the concept of or approach that you're going to use together with the client, but you need to have some kind of supporters on client side, and they should understand why this or that practice is such important for you or for them. So you need to find the supporters, you need to find the changes agents. And based on that information, the main slide or key slide of my short speech for today is about the Agile practices pool. Yeah. So you can see the phrase "lead the process" is equal make the progress. Yeah. So please say this phrase always to your team or teams. Yep. And be sure that from this list, from these boxes that are presented or that are placed on this slide, you use a lot. Yeah, a lot of them. So as you can see, guys, this is the best practices that I collected for your work, for your attention, and I want to highlight the most valuable or the most interesting. Yep, in my opinion. So if you're going to look at the left column of these blocks, the first 5 is the best from the top to down. These practices, we can say that this is a gold standard, yeah, for all of us. So involve the client in the planning process. This is a really important point. Why? Because you need to set the goals together. You need to align your actions together. You need to align your visions on your plan together. Only in that case, when you are on the same page, you can go forward without any kind of troubles. Yep. Regularly communicate progress, not the process, but guys, please think about the accent attentively. Yep. Progress. You can build communication, and you should build communication during the whole project life, yeah, with your client, and even more if you want to continue your relationships with the client. So that is why you need to always think about the methods or just practices that can improve your communication process. So regularly communicate progress. This is a key point. Regular and efficient feedback. Yeah, we talked about the feedback. I don't want to repeat. Common collaboration and gaps and issues. If we have the issue, if we have the gap in our client cooperation process, it's not only our trouble, it's the trouble for both sides. And you need to provide this understanding in gentle manner to your client and make everything to work together on gaps and issue, because in that process you not only build the trust as a basis, yeah, of our relationships with the client, but you also make understanding of each other in deep manner. And this is really important thing, because communication and efficient interaction equal the enough pace of work to keep all the targets that you have on your plate. Focus on client value. Especially important point. Why this is agile practice? Why? Because we have a lot of we could have a lot of tools that can help you, and we have a lot of tools that can help you to be focused on the client value. And not only on the feature level, but also on the product level, on the business level, etc., etc. So that is why when you're going to communicate, when you're going to cooperate with the client, ask yourself, where is the main value point in this or that question for my client? Think about. Keep on availability, yes, for sure, for both sides. Cross-training and lessons learned, very interesting and very simple practice, but I know that you know about that. Common work results review and analysis, extremely important point. Why? Because you not only should provide the reports to your client, but you need to review these things with your client and discuss the things with your client to understand the root cause, to make also together collaboration on gaps and issues. But this is a separate communication approach. So you need to be aligned with that. Face-to-face collaborations, for sure, not only in group chats, not only in during official meetings, etc., but face-to-face collaboration provide a lot of things to you. Build activities around motivated individuals. Guys, this is also gold standard. Please find on the client side representatives that are interested to resolve this or that question. This is build the activities, build the process on around these motivated persons. Reflection sessions, yes, for sure, also interesting practice. Monitor progress, standard practice. Keep sustainable pace of collaboration. Again, you need to monitor this pace of collaborations with the help of some tools, etc. Client strategic governance alignment session, very important point. Also, we can could belong to the golden standard of client collaboration. Common work KPIs, justification and agreement, and refine internal communications. Why? Because this is a source to improve all these things mentioned on that slide. So think about these practices. This is not only agile practices, by the way. This practices also belong to the best managerial practices in managerial world. So please think about, make some kind of audit of your project and think about what kind of practice can you use or you are using on your projects. And the last slide is about main blockers, so the main enemies, yes, of that just blocking best agile practices usage on the projects. Lack of understanding for what? Obvious. Passivity, frivolity, lack of efficiency, and sabotage. You need to identify them, but this is a separate topic. This is a separate topic for the next discussion. Yeah, could be separate topic for the next discussion if you want. We can just dive deep into each of these points. But generally, you need to be aware about the main blockers as well. And that's all. I think this is the right time to finalize this short speech and our webinar. So if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dmitro. You're just in time. Thank you for this interesting presentation. Really, really good information collected, I guess. So far, we don't have any questions. I just see that our colleagues agree with you regarding the point of trust in relationships between business analysts and customers, and for sure, that's correct. And I think everyone is satisfied with today's conversation. So I think today we can conclude our webinar. And thank you very much again for joining us, and Mitro, as always, for your knowledge sharing.
Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Все, я побежала. Спасибо большое. Пока-пока.
Спасибо, Тань.
Давай.
Пока.
Пока.